Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. Today on the table in front of us, we have a missed opportunity. This is the Nitch Designs Ingress. And this was a Kickstarter, and it just didn't get enough traction to get off the ground. And I am here to tell you that that is a crying shame. This is a superb pocket knife. Now, granted, it is funky looking. But we don't get enough of that in the knife world. I mean, it's interesting and comfortable and well-made, and it is just a real shame that it didn't get off the ground. And so the primary reason that I'm showing this to you is because I want... This was going to be $190. You were going to get CPM 20 CV. It is all titanium. It is running on bearings. It is... very, even for a smaller knife, very comfortable in hand. It is great to work with for cutting, which is the point of knives, and yet it manages to have a ton of style. And so I guess what I'm saying here is we need to be less afraid of change. I mean, not everything could, can, or should look like that. Those are out there. I get it. But when something really funky comes along, don't be afraid, especially at 190 bucks, to jump on board and give a new designer with a fresh idea a shot. This is a superb cutting tool. I've had this and one of the prototypes in-house for a little over a week, thanks to the Apex Pass-Around group, hashtag Apex Pass-Around. And I've been using it. It carries in pocket very well. This big, tall, lean blade comes down to a marvelously thin edge. It cuts right where you want it to. It is sort of a Wharncliffe or reverse Tanto Wharncliffe because of that flat edge. And yet because of the design, this thing even works, right? It's a flat edge, but because of the design, you can even cut, you can get the knife down ahead of your fingers. So this works even on a cutting board. So it's been really good even at food prep. I wish very much that this knife had been successful. If you see this knife or something else from Nitch Designs, N-I-T-C-H, give them your attention, because this is in a world full of knives that are pretty much the same. This is truly interesting and unique, and the materials are fantastic. You know, I've got Hinderers, and I've got... some Chris Reeves, and I've got lots of really expensive knives, and I have to tell you that this thing feels like one of those. Little touches, the pivot, for instance, right? Standard T8 on one side. On the other side, look at this cutout to keep it from being a free spinning pivot. It's got a nice, big, beefy, hardened steel insert to touch the blade, and as you can see, it is interesting looking. The action on this thing is just excellent. It's got a nice big lanyard spot if you lanyard. I don't, but it's there in such a way that it doesn't interfere with the flow of the knife. This milled titanium offers a ton of grip without being too aggressive, kind of too hard on the fingers. You can deploy with a roll. You can deploy with a flick. It is successful either way. It has a stamped titanium clip, bent titanium clip, that has good ramp and good spring. Now, it does eat up a lot of pocket, but look, this is an effort to bring a little more art into a fairly utilitarian functioning tool, the knife. And I think that the guys over at Nitch Designs did a really good job. These holes back here are to lighten the weight. The prototype that I have does not have these. I actually, you know, I mean, nothing is perfect, of course. So here's the proto, right? It has a slightly different lockup at the back, and it does not have those holes for weight. And I have to tell you that I actually like the proto a little better in hand. It's, you know, it's a 3.5 finger knife. I mean, they're the same dimensionally, right? But the little bit of extra weight, there's no choil on the proto. The little bit of extra weight works really well for me, but I would have been happy with either one of these brought to fruition and production. And I think very much that the knife community at large would have been happy with it as well. The aesthetic behind the design is straight functionality, as I said, with a little bit of art. It's got a great spot for your thumb to land. The blade is this really high, flat grind on what would have been CPM 20 CV. The tip is robust without being thick, so it's nice even all the way to the end, and it just cuts like crazy. What you would have gotten are one, 2, 3, basically 3 inches of cutting on 3¼ inches of CPM 20 CV. The grip area from just behind that rise, 1, 2, 3, and basically a half, up to 4. The handle itself is about 4 inches long. Overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 3/4. This is a really nice sized knife, right? Imagine it's small, but this design, particularly this way, allows you to do cuts with so much control. It is just a crying shame. I will put a link to the Nitch Designs website in this video, because if they do something else, and I hope they do, or if they find another way to bring this to market, I very much hope that it will get the attention it deserves. I am bummed that I won't be getting one of these, and I think that anybody who had the opportunity to get one in hand, and maybe that's the problem, maybe this is a knife that you have to hold. But know this, everyone I saw that reviewed it loved it, for various reasons. No one's exactly the same. Sure, there are some people that took issue with how much pocket, it takes up. It is a wide knife, but for the most part, this is a spectacular and interesting knife that we're just never going to get our hands on. That is a bummer. So what's the end result? Well, the end is this. If you see something on Kickstarter that has your attention and it won't break the bank, and you think that it's worth your energy and your effort to give it a shot, give it a shot. I have never gotten a bad knife from Kickstarter. I've gotten a couple that I didn't love, and in the end I moved them on. But I've never gotten a bad one. And I've had, well, I don't know, 4 or 5 at this point. So, if you're interested in the Nitch Designs company, the link will be down in the description. If you're interested in this knife, well, keep your eyes open. Maybe he'll find another way to bring it to market or something similar. I hope very much you've enjoyed this sort of short look at the Nitch Designs Ingress. I know that I have enjoyed having this on hand for review. I am really sad that it's moving on. Thank you so much for your time today. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Keep your eyes and your minds open for knives, particularly over on Kickstarter. There are young and old designers alike trying to bring new stuff to market all the time. That is one direction that they tend to go. It might be worth your attention as well. Have a great one, guys. We'll see you next time.